Once again, we're here at the range. My name is Barry Brakebill. I'm a pro shooter for CVA. We're talking about the Endura, which is our new rifle we just released last week. Some neat things about it is trying to develop a load, and I spent a couple of months doing that before the release of it. Starting out, anytime that I'm going to be shooting this rifle, I'm going to be using Blackhorn 209, and those charges will be weighed by weight, not by volume. A couple of things that I always do when I'm going to work up a ladder test, and I want to explain what that is and how you do it. First off, we'll start at, say, 78 grains. We'll fire one round, record the muzzle velocity. I'll go to 79 grains, fire one round, record the muzzle, and I will go up till I get to a point where I put another grain of powder in, and it absolutely doesn't get any faster. The muzzle velocity either stalls or goes backwards. That tells me that I've reached the point where the barrel isn't burning any more powder. So what I'll do is I'll go back to that flat spot node, and then I will plus or minus 2 grains on either side, 2/10 of a grain on either side, and shoot a 3-shot group to see which one is the most accurate. Once I determine that that's an accuracy node at, let's say, 80 grains, all right, what I'll do is then I'll start adding more powder until I start seeing the muzzle velocity go up again. Once I get that, I chase it till I hit my next flat spot. And that flat spot, to explain that, is, let's say it's running 2160, 2165, 2163, 2164. What that's telling me is that it's pretty consistent as far as your nodes when you're trying to determine your extreme spread and your standard deviation. Those two things are normally things you would find or look at or be able to check if you're running a lab radar, a Garmin radar, or some type of high-end a piece of equipment that will actually give you that data. I have both the lab radar and the Garmin radar. The difference between those two are one will determine the muzzle velocity and one will turn your muzzle velocity at, say, 100 yards. That will help me true this gun when I decide or pick what charge I'm going to shoot and how far I'm going to be shooting. Well, I did a complete test 3 or 4 years ago because I wanted to know, do primers matter? And so I took Remington, I took Federal, I took Winchester, I took CCI, and I would basically take each primer and I would load 3 to 4 rounds and I would shoot. I would see some significant muzzle velocity, better with some primers than others, but also I would notice that sometimes we'd have misfires. So I don't want to blame everything on the primer, but I will say that when I look at the lab radar and I see my ESs extreme spread went from like 11 to 22, I'm still using the same amount of powder. I'm still using the same bullet. So what's causing that to take place? Well, the only other option is how fast that primer is burning. What's inside that primer? Who made it? Where was it made? And so that means a huge thing. And normally what I try to do when I run out a particular lot of primers, I start my load development all over again. I buy 1,000 new primers, and I don't get a penny for saying this, but I use Federal Gold Medal Match primers in all my competition rigs. I've just found that they're way more consistent. I see just a little jump in muzzle velocity, but I don't see near the carbon going into the breech plug and causing me issues. So yes, I think all those primers, and I think there's been multiple tests as far as people shooting centerfire. I've read a lot of studies where people would say, okay, I'm going to be running 9.5 magnums, which is a Remington versus large rifle. So yes, it can make a huge difference. Just making sure you're consistent and not using a hodgepodge of primers, you should be able to get a consistent burn rate, consistent ES, consistent SD, and consistent small groups. Okay, well that ends our segment today on load development. We appreciate you coming along with this journey, and hopefully in the future, if you have any questions, you'll contact customer service at CVA.